and welcome back to the vlogs. It is Monday. To be honest, yesterday I just didn't do any reading. I had a horrible night from Saturday to Sunday, and so I was just way too tired yesterday, which still kind of like is today. I'm still equally tired, but yeah, I had to work. I just worked a 10-hour shift. Can you call it a shift? I don't know. I don't really have shifts, but you know, I just worked 10 hours. And then I just finished filming my video for Thursday, which I need to edit tomorrow. But yeah, it's, well, I'm gonna link it here because it comes out before the vlog. But yeah, it's about books that I think are like equivalent to popcorn movies, just like really entertaining books. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to film and think back on the books that I really enjoyed without them being like great books. So yeah, a lot of fun there. I don't really have that much of a reading update except for the audiobook I chose. I picked up a new audiobook yesterday. Well, firstly I finished the audiobooks about whales. I gave it 3 stars because in my opinion it was interesting. Yeah, but nothing more really. And he talks a little bit about like whale fishing, but in my opinion not enough critically, which I think is sad if you think that he's an anthropologist who like works with whale bones. I think he should have maybe said a little bit more about the problems of whaling and killing so many whales. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, I just think the book is good, just not as great as I had hoped it to be in the end. And then I picked up a new audiobook about Psychopath. It is by a Canadian professor. I'm gonna put the name and title here. I forgot it already again. But yeah, it's pretty much a book about what are psychopaths and how can you spot them and what are their traits and stuff. But from someone who studied them for like 25 years. And it is incredibly interesting. I think I already like listened to more than half of it yesterday because I didn't really want to do anything other than lie there and listen to an audiobook. But yeah, it's so interesting because he started out in like a prison, and obviously if we talk about psychopaths, a lot of the time you directly want to go to like the really big serial killers, but he also makes sure that he talks about like the small criminals or the people who never get caught doing crimes, because not every psychopath like does crimes. Sometimes they just make their life a little bit better at the expense of other people, you know. But yeah, it's a really interesting topic, and I think I have never heard someone talk so so diversely about psychopaths. Like, he makes sure to like really hammer into you that even if you think somebody like has like psychopathic tendencies or stuff, that doesn't have to mean anything, that it's really like a whole lot of circumstances that make a psychopath. And he also has the interesting theory that psychopaths aren't like born, they are a combination of born and made, kind of. And yeah, it's an incredibly interesting book. Like, here's the title. Check it out if you are at all interested in that. I have to be honest, if I would do my life over again, I would really think about studying psychology. It's so interesting, you know. But yeah, now I'm just too late in life to really study something like that again. But yeah, really interesting book. But that is the only thing I've read so far. Yeah, and now I just will chill a little bit, and then I will try to read a little bit in the evening. I'm not really sure if I will get to it, to be honest. I'm still really tired. And it's really warm here, which doesn't help my problems. It just makes them worse. If you are someone who has dermatitis, like having itchy skin in warm weather is the worst. And so yeah, it's just gonna get worse from here, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna chill a little bit now, and then I will hopefully read something and definitely check in with you tomorrow and not today, because yeah, it happens, you know. Sometimes the day doesn't go as you want it to go, but you just have to live with it. I'm just happy that I filmed my video and can edit that tomorrow, you know. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully it will be a little bit less warm tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, we have Wednesday. Yesterday I just, after work I edited Thursday's video. That took quite a bit, and then I just chilled, to be honest. And I didn't pick up a book yesterday. I don't know, sometimes I think it's fine to have a day where you don't read, So yeah, I only listened to a little bit more of my audiobook. It's still really great. I think it's so good that the audiobook focuses on non-violent crimes, or like white-collar crimes, I think is the right term for them, as well as on like the more violent crimes, though psychopaths actually do a lot more like white-collar crime. So yeah, it's really interesting, especially for someone who is really interested in true crime, to hear about psychopath and why it's so wrong for a lot of people in true crime to use that word for a lot of the really violent offenders. So that's really interesting. Also, he mentioned some true crime authors, especially Anne Rule, which I've read the books he mentioned, which is kind of nice. Yeah, so really interesting audiobook. And then I picked up, I needed something different than fantasy. I think I've read too much. Can you read too much fantasy? Probably not, but I think because Night Watch and the City Watch isn't my favorite genre of Discworld novels. I much prefer like Rincewind and Death and stuff. I'm struggling to read the book. I don't think it's because the book is bad, I just think it's not the right timing to read the book. So yeah, I took a little bit of a pause from that and I picked up a different book. And that is Map of Bones by James Rowland. I had to go into work today, actually like into the office, which I wasn't there for like 2 years now. I think I've worked only from home, but yeah, we had like some things we needed to do for which I had to come in, so I managed to read a little bit on my way there because it takes me like an hour to get there. And yeah, so I'm 90 pages into this one. These I think are, I don't know why, but I love the genre where you have like a special military force, like Secret Service military force on the one hand, and then archaeology or religion on the other hand. I think books like that are really interesting. So in this one we have a massacre in a German church, actually the Kölner Dom, which is in Cologne. In Germany it's called Köln, in English it's called Cologne, the city, and there's this really, really pretty dome. I went there with my school class. I lived like, well, I actually lived in the same like state as the dome is. I think it's might be like the next state over, but yeah, an hour away from there I was born. But yeah, so we went there on a school trip. It's a really, really pretty church. And we also walked all the way up the dome, which takes really, really long and is really, really fucking hard. But yeah, you have a really great view from there. But yeah, so really pretty church. And the book starts with like an attack on the church goers and like this special church service, and they pretty much kill them all except for one boy who can like save himself. And then they steal some bones that are in the church, like some relics from the Catholic Church. Is the Pope Catholic? Yeah, right, yeah. And yeah, so then we go over to our Sigma Force. This is a book in the Sigma series by James Rowland. I don't know if it's book 1. It feels like book 1. You know what, let me quickly look it up. Just so I can give you accurate information here. Okay, so it's Sigma Force part, like the second one in the series. I don't own the complete series, so I don't care that I don't read them all in the right order. I don't think it's necessary. Nothing in this book reads as if I would have to know it before. Like they introduce the character in here, all of that. So yeah, I don't think it really matters that I haven't read part 1. So yeah, we have our like Sigma Special Force, and the main character of the book is like the head guy of the force. And then we also have a second service. It isn't secret, but yeah, that is a woman who is like art history and special forces combined kinda, and she works in Rome, and so the Vatican hires her, and now they need to come together to investigate what happened with the relics and why those people needed to die. And yeah, it's really interesting. And then my fairyloot came, which is the reason I wanted to quickly unpack it. Also, I've decided once Illumicrate brings out the horror book only box, which I'm on the wait list for, which says 6 to 8 weeks, so I will probably be able to get that one around September. I've decided I will stop this one. I don't think there's a need for me to get 2 like fantasy books each month and a horror book, and I think it's much nicer to like just get like a horror book and a fantasy book to have like a different experience. And I like my Illumicrate box, so I've decided that I will stop this one as soon as I get on the shipping list for the horror book boxes. Even though the horror boxes are only like, I think it's a quarterly box, so that won't come as often, but let's be honest, that's probably better for my bank account. But yeah, I have no way to like get through all of those books I'm getting, and I personally feel like that Illumicrate has more often the books that I really enjoy, and that fairyloot, the books are a little bit more on the romance side, I feel like. So yeah, that is the plan, but we'll see how it all goes timeline wise. And the topic of this month is Kiss or Kill, which it's probably a romance aspect again, but you know, I just don't enjoy it. I try to, but in most books I just don't. But the cover looks pretty. I haven't heard of the author before. The book is called The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. Really pretty book, you know. I'm a sucker for a good-looking book. Let's see what it's about. Has she been sent to save the realm or destroy it? A spy master to the queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the queen's enforcer, and Aya's bitter rival. When rumors of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate. But when Aya's powers act beyond her God-given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when a relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the danger that will follow. Good chance that I won't like it. Just by that description. I hate the whole thing of like, yeah, I hated him and then I fell in love with him. It's a trope I don't enjoy, like enemies to lovers or stuff like that. I don't enjoy that, which makes this one probably a book I won't enjoy. But you never know, I will try it at some point. I really like the design of the book. Yeah, it's really pretty. Oh, I hope I will like it, but I don't know. I think I need to branch out more into horror. I think horror books have romance way less often in them, and I'm really struggling with romance, and I don't know why nowadays in every book there needs to be romance. It's something that I realized watching like Lord of the Rings again. Yeah, there's some like, there are relationships in the Lord of the Rings, and there are like some scenes where there obviously are emotions and well, not only emotions, but like you have Arwen and Aragorn, and then you have Eowyn, and well, she likes Aragorn, but later on she goes with Faramir. You know, but those are just like small, like really, really small aspects of the story. And I don't get why in this day and age, like every story has to have like a major relationship at its center. I personally don't enjoy that in a lot of books. Yeah, sorry, but I don't. But the book looks pretty. If the blurb spoke to you, maybe like try it. I will try it at some point, probably not that soon, to be honest. But yeah, that's the reason why once I got the horror book, I will definitely let this box go. I do enjoy getting the pretty books, but I think it's just not worth it in the end if I don't like that many of them. So yeah, I just think for my finances sake, at some point I will have to stop the box. But yeah, that is my check-in for the day. Tomorrow there's hopefully like a better check-in with a little bit more reading. I will try to read a good chunk of this one tomorrow, and yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I don't have to go in tomorrow. I can work from home again, and yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, let's talk reading. It's Thursday afternoon. I finished work. This week work is really taking a lot of my energy, but you know, we're getting to the end of the week. But I wanted to give you a reading update. I finished Without Conscience, the audiobook about a psychopath I listened to, and I gave it 4 stars. I think it was really interesting just to like clean up with the preconceptions we all have what a psychopath is, like the definition of it and stuff like that. And he also gave like some interesting tips how to like maybe spot one, or like how to get out of a situation where you feel like you are taken advantage of by someone with like psychopathic tendencies. And yeah, I think all in all it was really interesting, though I gave it only 4 stars because I think it was at some points not in depth enough. I would have liked for the book to maybe be like a little bit longer and like go more into detail on some topics, but I understand that it maybe isn't realistic for like such a book because at some point you get into like too much information. But yeah, in my opinion, quite a few true crime authors could really profit from reading the book. Because I think it's like really helpful also in like comparing like violent criminals with like non-violent criminals, and kind of like showing how both can be psychopaths, but they don't have to be psychopaths. Like it's just because someone commits like a violent crime, they don't technically have to be a psychopath. But yeah, really interesting. I would actually really recommend it, especially if you like true crime and want like a little bit more of an insight in like the psychology behind stuff like that, and to like maybe spot errors in true crime books in the future that could maybe help. And also I like how the author talks a lot about like that we technically need to put his research into like the courts and make sure everybody knows like the details about what is a psychopath, how can I spot one, like to bring those details into like counseling services, family counseling services, like abuse hotlines, you know, all of the people who kind of take care of victims and of perpetrators in the system, and that would be really good if they can spot psychopaths, and that we actually need to start talking about children with psychopathy and how to help them and actually make sure that they don't go into a life of crime, even though he says that it is a really, really hard thing, and that we have to kind of like stop with the negative aspects of it, so that once you label a child a psychopath, that it isn't necessarily negative, just that it's kind of like a thing that needs help. So yeah, for that, really interesting, would recommend. Great audiobook as well. I really like the guy who read the book. And then I continued quite a bit with Map of Bones today. I'm 1/3 of the way through. I'm at page 177. So not quite like at the halfway point. I'm like missing 50 pages to the halfway point. I have to say I really, really like the way the characters interact. Our two groups pretty much have now merged. They met at the church in Cologne that got attacked, and they got attacked again because obviously the bad organizations tried to clean up all the loose ends, and they managed to escape and are now like continuing with the investigation. And I just like the interaction between all the different characters. They are all quite cool, and I have to say, it does remind me slightly of the Robert Langdon series, but I think that this one is way better. But yeah, it's also like a big part of like religions, symbolism, and all of that. There's a lot of like mention of that stuff in here. I personally really like that in these books. Like, you know, they are hunting after some relics for a reason they don't know yet, and I think it's really interesting. But yeah, the characters are really nice. I enjoy them. Our main character, especially the main Sigma guy from whose perspective the main part of the book is, and then we get like little parts of like the other people, but like mainly from him. And also we have, I forgot her name, but she's called Rachel. She's the niece of the priest that came from Rome, like that part of the team. I really like those two characters. They're really interesting. Also, the book has a lot of like strong, self-reliant women, which I personally like. It's really diverse when it comes to the team. Like, we have 2 women and 3 guys, which like a good amount. And yeah, it's not like the typical, oh, the woman can't help herself. It's, yeah, they help each other, but like they're all strong in their own sense. So I really like that. So yeah, that is where I am currently. I probably will continue later this evening, but I will tell you tomorrow. And then I will also need to pick a new audiobook because I haven't done that yet and I don't know what I want to listen to. I'll see you in the next reading update. Okay, let's have a quick little chat about reading. I'm feeling kind of restless with my reading right now, especially the last few days, which is why I haven't checked in that much. I read a little bit more of Map of Bones, and I do enjoy it, even though we now have like another cult added to the mix, and Egyptian symbology and religion and stuff. Which yeah, makes this even more complicated, but it's still really interesting. But nonetheless, I'm just really restless. I feel like picking up a different book again. I will finish all the books I started, you know, at some point I just finish them, and I know it maybe not ideal for like the vlogs for watching if I can't like tell you how I like the finished book, but I just don't feel like reading that right now and I want to read. So I'm gonna pick up Magische Schatten, which Magic Shadows in English, which is a short story collection of Twilight Zone short stories. And yeah, I'm just really for some short stories right now, and I don't think I have an English short story collection that I haven't read yet on my physical TBR. So yeah, I will read that one now. And then I also started a new audiobook, Ringworld. I will have to look the author up. I'm gonna put it here. It's a sci-fi book, like a little bit like a space opera, and for me it feels like reading A Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy, but in weirdly sexual. So I'm like 50-50 on that one right now. I haven't listened to that much yet, but yeah, we have like a human and 2 different aliens plus a woman that I don't know if she's an alien or human, and they have to go on like a journey to save the one alien species from like an explosion, and pretty much as a reward the alien says they can keep the ship to then save humanity pretty much. And so yeah, it's like a weird story, but the humor feels really Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy, with a lot of sexual innuendos. So yeah, I'm not sure how I like it, but I will probably continue with that one at some point. But yeah, now I'm gonna read some short stories. Okay, I'm sorry this week has been a little bit lacking. It's Saturday evening now. It's the ending of the vlog. Just a quick update. I continued with Ringworld. My opinion is still the same. I have no idea if I like it or not. Then I read the first 2 short stories of Magic Shadows. I think this is one-to-one the Twilight Zone series in like book form. The first story is about someone who has like this little case he sells stuff out of, and then there comes like death comes to him and it's like, yeah, you're gonna die, and he doesn't want to die. So yeah, the story goes there. And then the second one, we have a guy who goes to a therapist and he's afraid that if he falls back asleep he will die. And the story is the conversation with the therapist. I really like them. I like them. I would say I watched like 70% of the first season, and yeah, I think this are all of the short stories of the first season, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, that makes it really nice because I really enjoyed what I watched of the show. I just have to continue. And yeah, so I will know the first however many are in here, and then I won't know the rest. And yeah, I also concluded a little bit with this one. I'm now over halfway through. Still the same opinion on this one, to be honest. So yeah, reading has been a little bit hard this week. It has been like a really busy week. Today we had a lot of things to do. We're looking after like the apartments of my parents-in-law and stuff like that because they're on holiday. And yeah, then we went on a really nice walk with the dog, which I'm gonna put, well, you will have seen some footage of that. And yeah, we're home really late, and so yeah, I didn't really get to read that much today, and just this week has been like, I don't know, a little bit off when it comes to reading, but that will work itself out somehow, you know. It's always like that. You always have like the 1 week where you just like aren't interested in anything you start really reading, even though the things you read aren't bad. They're really, really good. I really enjoy the books, but I'm still not in the mood to continue them, which is kind of a problem, you know. But yeah, I'm sorry this is like a rather abrupt ending for the vlog, but yeah. I hope you still enjoyed the vlog. Maybe leave a like, a comment, subscribe. That would mean a lot. And yeah, I will see you hopefully in the next video, which will hopefully be a little bit more interesting. Bye bye!